I like me. I like me. I would buy me a drink. I look at me now and I see all the warts. Okay, I see all the negatives more than anybody else does. I see the positives. And over the whole balance of stuff, I like me. And I can give myself the same grace. If you and I were friends, I can give myself the same grace I can give you. Because I like me. I like me in spite of my understanding and the reality of my weaknesses and my warts and my scars and everything. But you know, all in all, I'm a pretty good dude. And man, you got to get to that point. Arrogance is pride mixed with ignorance. All right, that's the definition of arrogance. I'm not talking arrogance. I'm talking about, look, as a human being, I've failed at this, I've succeeded at that, I've wrecked this, but I've built that. And all in all, you know, I've tried. But I like me, so I'm gonna give me some grace. And
I wonder how many people can say that. How many people say, I like me? They would give more grace, more care, more attention, more love to somebody else than themselves. There's a statistic around, I think on average, the likelihood that you are going to complete a course of antibiotics yourself is about 50%.
Right.
The likelihood of your dog completing it is 95%.
Yes, yeah.
So we're literally capable of caring for a pet.
Right.
Nearly double as well as we can for ourselves. Remembering that if you die, no one can look after the pet.
Right.
So in an odd roundabout way, serving yourself and serving others from a cup which overflows around your own is important. Tell me, how do you like yourself?
Find somebody that you like, that you genuinely like, and figure out what it is about them you like. I like that. That's something I like. That person they're understanding, they're gentle, they're hardworking, they're honest, they're this. This is what I like about that, and incorporate that stuff into your own life. If that's the stuff you like, then incorporate that stuff into who you are, and then you like yourself. It's not rocket science, you know. Because there are things that you like as a person that wouldn't mean anything to me. So that is what I like in a person. So if I work at taking on those attributes, it helps me become a person that I like. I have come to the place in my life where when I meet somebody and they don't like me, and you can tell, I don't care. I like me, and it's enough.
You know, this was a lesson that I realized toward the end of my 20s, where I accumulated a lot of success and status in maybe the way that modern society tells a young man that he should, with freedom and notoriety and women and stuff like that. And that was cool, and to look back on, fun. But it was beginning to get to the stage where I didn't like me all that much. You know what, I hadn't done anything bad, but I just felt like I was built for more. I was built for different, built for something else.
Right.
I realized that I wasn't keeping promises to myself. If I said I was going to wake up at a certain time, the snooze button would be hit 3 times.
Right.
If I said that I was going to stick to my diet or go to the gym or do this thing, maybe it would happen, but it wouldn't happen quite the way that I'd meant it to, and there would be some negotiating and some cajoling and some falling short. So imagine that you had a friend, and every time that you invited this friend out for lunch, they showed up an hour late, or they didn't show up at all. After a while, you'd stop trusting them and stop inviting them out at all.
Right.
You are that friend to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, how can you have faith that you're going to go and do all of the things that you want in life when you can't not hit the snooze button?
Right.
Or you can't not cheat on your diet. You
Right.
can't not do, you know, you are constructed by the tiny decisions that you make every single day.
Well, I'll just say I came to a place in life where I just didn't like me anymore. I wasn't a very nice person. And I was just very on edge, very angry. So I had to make some decisions. What's making me like this? Angry, there's no benefit to it. You know, it doesn't fix anything. You know, anger, it just turned out, I'm like, this is not profitable. And this is eating me up inside. And I'm making stupid decisions. This has just got to end. So I had to make some decisions. What's making me like this? I need to get it out of my life. And there were people. And slowly over time, you know, got a handle on stuff. Kind of got some of my perspective back. I don't like the trend in this circle, men's motivation circle. I don't like the hustle culture as is being brought out and taught today. I don't agree with it because I think it's out of balance. I think young men need to know that, hey, it's okay for you to sit down and to read and have a cigar and to chill and to think. Because I guarantee if you're in the weight room pumping out all these reps and running on the machine, and then you're going into the cubicle and you flip open a computer and you're not thinking, you're learning, you're taking in, but you're not meditating on stuff and you're not thinking. But that can be taken so far that young men are made to feel guilty for just sitting down and thinking and relaxing. And I understand that there was a tendency in this country. We had a lot of young men that were not raised with dads. They weren't raised to work, you know, and so it's sitting on the couch playing the stupid Xbox, you know, not growing up learning to work. So that pendulum went too far this way. So now you've got guys who, in order to counteract that, they swung the pendulum too far this way. A balanced man needs to be somewhere in the middle. He needs to be able to work, to do what needs to be done, to improve himself. And he also needs to sit around by the fire in the backyard. Stay balanced. There needs to be balance. If you turn around and look back with open eyes at your life, you see all the scars. You can't, the only way you cannot be humble in old age is when you refuse to look at the reality of your life up to today. You know, that's the only way.
Because nobody's skated through it perfectly.
But this is what drives my, and it sounds ludicrous in my ears, but my business endeavors today. This is the core of what drives me. Okay, there is no business out there that I can take on. There is no monetary endeavor that I can take on that is worth the gamble of me losing me. It took me years of a lot of grief and pain and work to get to be who I am today in spite of who I was. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose myself in business. I don't want to lose myself in trying to earn a better living, in trying to get a name, in trying to do this. I have turned down so much because I've looked at it and I've asked myself, who's this going to make me be? Who's this going to turn me into? Even a little bit. And it's like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. And so I'm right now trying to find the balance, undertaking something that's not going to alter me, that I'm not going to lose myself, and then not succeeding at something because I was too afraid to try it, which has never been an issue with me before. I've never been afraid of failure before. But now I've got something I don't want to lose, and that's myself that I actually like, a me that I actually like.
The person that you have to spend the most time talking to in your life is yourself. Try not to lose that respect.